Hello and welcome to episode 199 of Heroes of Handheld. This is the internet's premium handheld gaming podcast dedicated to all things Switch, mobile, PS Vita, 3DS, Game Boy, PSP, and Nvidia Shield. My name is Chris. I'm joined by Colin. Every week we take you through the week's big handheld gaming news stories. We do some little reviews. We also do first impressions. We also talk about the gaming industry in general. Hot takes, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Colin?
Hey, Chris, I'm good. How are you on this very cold November evening?
I'm good. You
Are
played
you?
your First Switch over the weekend, didn't you? Didn't you,
I
boy?
did. It was great to see you on Saturday. Me and Chris did some shopping. We walked around. We held hands. We shared a cup of cocoa at the Christmas market. It was very romantic, like a scene out of Love Actually.
I was
But
surprised when you tried to make the move. I wasn't expecting it.
well, I mean, after the third glass of mulled wine,
Yep.
I'm anyone's. I'm easy. But no, it was great. You bought your Switch with you, which I didn't expect actually. When you said I've got my Switch, when you said I've got a big package in my bag, it's like, oh, Chris. But no, you're actually referring to your Switch. So you bought your Switch with you, and I actually the first time I ever got to play one. I've not actually played on a Switch before. So we sat in the car by the train station, propped up, knocked out the little kickstand, put it on my dashboard, and we had a royal good time. And I have to say, it's just made me want to Switch even more. It plays so well. It was so smooth. And I had the motion controls on my Joy-Con.
We've played
steering.
Mario Kart, we should say.
Yeah, Mario Kart. And I was amazed at how well it responded, actually. In the past, when you've done like motion controls for I don't know, the Wii nunchucks or any other sort of thing like that, honestly, it works so well. Like even the slightest movement on the Joy-Con made the car move, which was really cool. And it was just a joy to play. It was really fun. Really enjoyed it. The Joy-Con feels really nice in the hand. The Switch just has a beautiful screen, and it's made me want one even more. Did I buy one for Black Friday? No, because there was no decent deals.
Yeah,
Um,
the like we kind of expected it, to be fair. The deals weren't on the actual Switch console, were they? A lot of them were
it
like,
was the games.
oh,
Mm,
here's a
it
game
was the
for less. I mean, I bought one thing on Black Friday, which is I bought Skyrim for £40, which is what about
games.
$70 in the States?
Mm,
No, about
yes.
$60. No.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's such a lot of money
All
for
right,
such an
sorry.
old game. We'll get into that in a minute. I think you want to. Obviously, you've been
All
playing
right.
it.
Sorry for spending my hard-earned money how I want to. My
Well,
bad.
no. I'm glad you've got it because now we can talk about it. And I am interested in this because I've never played Skyrim before. So when I get a Switch, I'll pick it up. But I just think this just goes back to what we've been discussing for the past few weeks. Is it £50 they were charging recommended retail price for a game that's what 6 years old?
Yeah,
Just
so I
feels a
bought
bit
it for
steep.
40. I bought it for £40, which is equivalent to $53 according to Google.
So yeah, 40 quid. This all right. Anyway, so let's just talk. So the biggest company that does Black Friday deals for gaming in this country is Game, and I think it's about 8 o'clock. It was on Thursday night. They released all their
Mm.
deals, and they had some pretty good deals on the Xbox. The Xbox One S. There's quite a few. You could get like an Xbox One S in the game for about 170, which I thought was pretty darn good. There was a few PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro offers, and things like that. And the two Switch deals, I think, wasn't one of them with Mario and the Rabbits.
Yeah,
There was a
the game
package.
bundles weren't amazing because they were like the normal price. Then you got the games for like say 50 rather than 55 or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Not amazing prices.
But it was interesting because the Switch deals were the only ones to sell out on Black Friday, from what I saw. I went on the game website about midday on Friday, Black Friday, and both the Switch packages were gone. They only had the PlayStation and Xbox ones left, which just further highlights how in demand the Nintendo Switch is. And I really think they're going to if they've got enough stock to cope with it, I think it's going to sell so much this Christmas.
Yeah,
Nintendo are going to make a
definitely.
killing.
People, and it shows you how kind of thirsty people were for a deal as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know my partner's stepdad has actually bought a Switch for my girlfriend's younger sister, which is cool. but he couldn't find any good deals. In the end, he just bought, I think it was just a normal package. It was I don't know how much he bought it for, but he got a Switch, and he got probably two of the best games, or two of some of the best games you can get on Switch. He got Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8, which is quite a good.
Yeah, they're both great.
Two games good to start your Switch career. Anyway, you know what? We're going to get straight into this. How are you finding Switch Skyrim on Switch? I'm quite interested to hear your thoughts. I saw you put a picture up a couple of days ago of the character you created, but I want to know your thoughts.
I played a lot of Skyrim on PS3, but I never finished the main game. I kind of got swamped by all the sidetrack stuff and ended up not finishing it. But I still put, I'd say, about 40 hours into Skyrim on PS3. Like, I did play it a lot. And I was sort of wary playing it on Switch because I was kind of like, well, I mean, I'm like, I enjoyed that game so much, but I wonder how well it's going to run. And actually, like, for me, it's a real genuine surprise because the game runs really smoothly. Like, I thought it would be really hard. Like, I thought it might be really hard to play. I was kind of prepared for it to be a bit choppy and a bit framey. But it's not. It's really smooth. It's really pleasant. It's literally how you might imagine the Skyrim on Switch to be. And because I played it on PS3, it looks so much better than I remember it as well, which probably helps. Like, when you kind of go into the sort of the wilds for the first time, and you kind of, if you go out at night, you see the sort of stars in the sky. And Skyrim is such a like special game, I think, for so many people. There's a reason why it's been ported to every console under the sun. It's because like people really connect with it, and it's kind of got a really wonderful and curious atmosphere, and a real like people just like love to connect with it. And there's so much going on. There's so many micro stories, and there's so many different ways you can kind of handle and play your character. I mean, I'm a couple of hours in. I've sort of not really done very much kind of actual story because I've just been exploring and trying to sort of get my bearings, but also trying to get into the swing of this new character that I'm playing as. So yeah, I really like it. They've added motion controls, which I know are a slight sore spot for some people. I'm not too upset about them. You can basically, you attack, if you've got the Joy-Cons out, you attack right and left, or by swinging your hands around, and you can aim with bows and spells as well by wiggling the motion control. The only thing that I feel is kind of missing, and I don't really know how you'd add this, but I wish you could move your character's perspective by moving the Joy-Con controller around, because you can't really do that unless you're aiming with a bow. And I kind of felt like that would make it even better. It would kind of become more immersive. But I can understand why they've not added it. It must be technically quite demanding. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm only a couple of hours in. It's hard to say because with a game like this, you need to give it, 40 hours before you're kind of before you can kind of come down on it. But I do enjoy it, and it's just like Skyrim is just so wonderfully kind of made. It's made with such love and affection that when you start a new game, it's like, oh yeah, I know, like such a nice place to be, and there's so much going on. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I mean, it doesn't look like it looks better than how it is when I played it, but I imagine if you played the PS4 version, it probably doesn't really withstand compared to that. But I'm enjoying it. I can't say too much wrong about it, really.
I think with this port to Switch, I think the thing that people are most worried about is, does it play well on a handheld device? And, I mean, a lot of issues with big games that came to the PlayStation Vita, as an example.
Yeah, thinking about Borderlands or something.
Yeah. Yeah, when the frame rate was awful and it was choppy and it almost became unplayable. But I mean, just hearing that it's the same Skyrim experience you can get on any other console, pretty much, well, PS3 or Xbox 360, and it runs smoothly. There's no frame rate issues. I mean, the fact that you can play such a massive game on the go, it's just amazing.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is I've only played it docked. I haven't played it in handheld mode.
Oh, that surprises me.
I'd be curious to see how that is.
Okay, so when are you going to take it out into the wild anytime soon to give it?
Yeah, I would at some point. I'll probably take it to work at some point and give it a try there. But yeah, it's just a very special game, really, and it's so the score just absorbs you, and like if you play with headphones as well, that's really recommended.
I played
Yeah, I really
Oblivion.
like it.
I haven't played Skyrim yet, as I've said. And one of the big things about Oblivion that I love was the music. The music was absolutely fantastic, and I
Yeah,
hope I'm imagining Skyrim is just as good. So I imagine with headphones it would be incredible having that experience. I mean, just this
yeah,
exploring a forest and seeing the stars. That was another thing that was good about Oblivion. Like, though obviously it's quite dated now. It's over 10 years old, Oblivion, but they still did it where go from night to day, and at night there'd be stars, there'd planets up, and it just looked incredible. So having that on a handheld device, headphones in, just exploring the wilderness, and that's just amazing. That's what you want from a Elder Scrolls game, really.
but Oblivion is kind of it. Like Skyrim obviously wouldn't exist without Oblivion, but Oblivion, there's a reason why Oblivion's not been ported to all these consoles and Skyrim has. It's because like it's not very smooth to play, is it? Like it's fine on the PC, but I mean I remember it on console and it was just great. So yeah.
But the big question is with Skyrim, have you met anyone who's told you a story about taking an arrow to the knee?
Not yet. I met Nazim, who's like, "Do you get to the Cloud District much?" No, I didn't think you did. Who's
Yeah.
an iconic character in Skyrim memes, but yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and be interested to hear how you find the handheld mode as well. Right. So let's continue this trend of games that we've been playing. So Pocket Camp, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which I believe came out last week. I think was it the first time
it
we spoke?
come out last Thursday, but it came out early last Wednesday.
So I've just opened it up now and I've got to download an update. So I'm not gonna lie, I've not played it that much. The end of last week I was playing it quite a lot, but I don't know. I'm just getting a bit bored. I don't know. I'm not that far in. I think I'm only level 2, to be honest. I'm quite low down. But I've not found enough to keep me coming back yet. But I'm seeing so many things online about people having like great times and people being so leveled up so much, and I just feel I'm missing something here. So I'm going to stick with it because I want to fully embrace the world of Animal Crossing, which is a world I'm not familiar with at all. Are you still playing this game, Chris? Are you still on it? Are you still keen?
Yeah, I'm playing. I'm coming in every day, but I'm losing interest in it. Really, a big problem for me is that every time I log in, it tells me I need to download an update.
Yeah,
pretty much every day, and it's like I don't know if this. I have tried uninstalling and reinstalling it. I don't know if there's something wrong with my my install, but it's happened often enough that it's like it's just a bit frustrating, really.
Yeah, just gets a bit boring. I mean, what do you have to keep downloading? What is it that we
That's
need?
the thing. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't tell you, does it? So you're just like, I guess I'll download this again.
Yeah, it's dodgy, doesn't it?
It's a bit frustrating, really, because it's like I just want that quick hit, and I'm being hit with, oh, you need to download this again.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's strange. I don't think they've implemented any updates, have they, since it came out yet? So we've still got the original game, apart from obviously these downloads we keep having. I mean, I've seen this article online. This is from Kotaku, which I thought was quite funny. How people are taking advantage of. I mean, the whole point of the game, the central aim is to create the best camp possible. So you create a little campsite and invite as many people as possible, make it a success. But people are sort of taking this to a whole new level. And there's loads of reports and loads of videos online, actually, of people making these funny cults. They're making cults and prisons out of their camps, which is quite funny. Apparently, reading this article here, there's I don't know, it's not a glitch, but there's a quirk. When you place down a lamp in your camp, people will the characters you've got there automatically stand in front of it. And there's this really interesting video actually on this article, which we'll put on the article for this week's episode, where there's like a little tent at the front with a dog character just standing out. There's all these lamps on this floor and loads of characters just standing by these lamps, just staring forward. It's quite something. It's quite creepy actually, but also quite entertaining. And some people are like locking people in cages and things and making weird prisons. So it's getting a bit weird, getting a bit strange. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a bit like The Sims, really, isn't it? Where people used to like put their characters into a room. They used to put their characters from The Sims into a pool and then they take out the ladder and just watch them suffer and die. So it just shows how evil people are, really. In such a lovely game, people are making prisons.
It's really interesting the way that people work out the rules so quick, isn't it? And can kind of work out, oh, well, if this is how it works, then I need to do this, I need to do this, and then suddenly you've got a prison. It is really
well, it's keeping people
funny,
interested, isn't it? Which is quite funny. I'm gonna stick with it and see if I can, get the bug and get hooked on it, because a lot of people are hooked on it. I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about it. So, I mean, I'm quite surprised that you're not hooked on it, Chris, to be honest, because obviously
the issue is the download thing. Because when I get playing, I really like it. Like, and there are mornings. On Sunday, I spent like an hour on it in bed, just doing stuff. But it, like, as soon as that screen comes up, that's like, you need to download an update. I'm like, not fast, because it takes so long, and you can't, leave it whirring whilst you do something else. You have to do it in the app. So it's like, if I'd play it, like, say I'd play at work or on the loo or something, can't do it if it's doing that.
I mean, I'm finding the updates are pretty quick still. I mean, they haven't got to the point where they're actually interfering with my enjoyment of the game. But it would be nice to know why there are so many updates and what they're actually doing with the updates. But there you go. Right, so another game that we've been playing a lot on mobile, or have been over the years. I know when I spoke to you on Saturday, Chris, you did tell me that you deleted the game a couple of weeks back. But Pokemon Go is still a thing that people love and people play. And last week we gave you the news about the event that Niantic were running, where if they caught, I think it was 3 billion Pokemon, they would be releasing Farfetch'd around the world, which was previously exclusive to, was it Asia? That Farfetch'd was
yes, it was Asia. Yeah.
So that obviously happened. It came and went, completely smashed that target, and Farfetch'd was absolutely everywhere a couple of days ago. I caught so many. I got them in my Pokedex, so very excited about that. Chris, did you download Pokemon Go again, and did you catch a Farfetch'd?
I did, yeah. I did specifically. I re-downloaded it after the event finished, just so I could get Farfetch'd, because I'm horrid. I'm a horrid person, Colin.
No, it had to be done. So are you pretty much there with your Pokedex for the original?
Yeah, I've not gone out and caught Ho-Oh yet, which they've just announced Ho-Oh's on until December the 12th. And I've not done that yet, but that's something that I need to get this week.
So is Hi-Ho part of the original lineup of Pokemon?
Ho-Oh is Gen 2. It's the legendary from Gen 2.
Yeah, so this is only obviously going to be available in raid battles, and it's going to be available until the 12th of December. So we've got quite a bit of time, got about 2 weeks to catch this. So obviously you need to have a big group of your pals if you want to catch this one. It's going to be very difficult, but yeah, it's good. They're still bringing new Pokemon out there. It seems like now more than ever they really are, trying to get people back into the game. It's strange. There's been a lot of these events lately, like Double XP and new Pokemon and these new legendaries coming in. So it is good to see. It would still be nice to, see some updates to gameplay and actually get the trading system in that we were promised all those years ago. But hey ho, what can you do? Or maybe
I kind of feel like this event has been like their most successful one for a while, because they've been really good at communicating with the audience. I think that plays such a big difference. Whereas like when you have previous events, they've not really spoke to anyone about it. Whereas this was very much like, we're running this. You've caught this many Pokemon. It's going this well.
Which is good. They're engaging with their community, which is potentially something they've not done before. Just saying. Or maybe this is just a interesting idea to get people back into playing Pokemon Go ahead of them releasing the Harry Potter game next year, and reminding people that they love this sort of game.
Yeah, all that.
Maybe. Right, Chris, is there anything you want to discuss? What have you got?
Let me have a look. Yeah, so we are going to... I want to talk to you, Colin.
Hi, Chris. Hi, I'm here.
Hi, thanks. It's nice of you to consider me in a podcast. I want to talk about my Tamagotchi forever. Did you have a Tamagotchi when you were a kid?
Oh, I did. Do you remember back when we were at uni?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this.
Wasn't there a phase when we all bought Tamagotchis again? Do you remember this?
Yeah,
like the first,
I do.
Second, third year of uni, where we all bought Tamagotchis, and then
you and Dan ordered them from eBay, and I was like, Dan was the guy we went to uni with, and I was like, I'm not that fussed really. I'm not going to get one. But you, yes, I very much remember you getting one.
And I remembered, well, I didn't remember anything, but I was playing it. I was like, this is pretty crap, to be honest. I don't
Uh,
need this in my life. So I used to love Tamagotchi back in the day. I had one and I loved it. And you always felt so bad when you left it for a couple of hours or a night and like couldn't it like walk off? Didn't it like just it had enough and just left if you like didn't look after it properly?
I see. I
I do
never
remember
had a
that.
Tamagotchi. I had a Pocket Pikachu, which
Oh,
was
okay.
of similar ilk, similar vibe, but obviously with like a Pokemon spin.
Yeah.
But it was
So
also that the Pocket Pikachu was a pedometer, so you
ah.
fueled it by walking around, which was good.
Oh, I don't think Tamagotchi had any sort of tracker thing like that, did it? It didn't have any motion sensor or anything. It was
No,
just
I don't
you
remember it
pick it
having
up.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, what's happening? Is it why should we care about Tamagotchi
So
again?
Engadget, but other places are reporting as well, are saying that My Tamagotchi Forever is a free-to-play game that's coming to your smartphone in 2018. It's because it's Tamagotchi's 20th birthday this year. They've announced that next year they're going to be releasing a game that comes to smartphone called My Tamagotchi Forever. It's set in the colourful Tama Town, and it's kind of a bit like Animal Crossing Podcamp. There's a trailer we'll embed on heroespanel.wordpress.com. Same as before, log in, make sure your Tamagotchi's okay, clean it, pick up its shit, put it to bed, all that kind of stuff. Play mini games to get coins or get you food and costumes. Apparently, it's already available in Canada,
Yeah, I didn't realize
which
that.
I didn't realize. And there's going to be microtransactions as well, as you might expect on this sort of a game. So, yeah, it looks interesting. The trailer looks quite good. I mean, I will give this a try, but I kind of feel like I don't know. I mean, it's going to have to be really good because, like, the whole thing of Tamagotchi was the fact that about those little things was it was the unit, like it was built in. You didn't need to carry
Yeah.
anything around. Whereas if this, like, is too battery intensive or too many notifications, straight away for
Mm.
me, that's going to be like no, you're right. Don't want to play this.
It definitely, if it's like the original Tamagotchi, it is the sort of game you really have to pay attention to throughout the day because, like, if you get notifications about, oh, he's pooed, oh, he's weed,
Yeah,
he needs to go for a walk. Like, if you're a normal person who has a
no,
job, you can't
very
really do
quickly
that.
get me to uninstall.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah, it'd be
looking at the
interesting to see
trailer
how it
here,
does.
it's interesting because it looks like it's augmented reality, but then there's also a little town that the character's walking around as well at the end.
Mm.
So be interesting to see. I mean, I'm definitely going to try to check this out. I'm always up for these new interesting mobile games, and obviously Tamagotchi is something I used to really like. So I'll give it a go. It's coming out. Have we got? We just know 2018, don't we? We don't know if
In
we won't. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out on that. One last bit of news, actually, before we go into the proper meat and bones, the meat and veg. So Apple are rushing to fix a major password bug. So for anyone who just has an Apple phone, an iPhone, you don't have to worry because this is only affecting Macs. So MacBook Pros, iMacs. This is a security flaw on them, which is fantastic because I'm currently using an iMac, so that's just great. So there was an update. I think my update was a couple of weeks ago now. It's quite a while. It's macOS High Sierra, which, as I said, I downloaded a couple of weeks ago. They have found, or someone has found, a very big flaw, and apparently Apple are still rushing to fix this. As far as I'm aware, they still haven't created or released a new update. I've definitely not had a notification about an update.
mm.
Apple said we are working on a software update to address this issue. It was discovered by Turkish developer Lemi Ergin. He found that by entering the username root, leaving the password field blank, and hitting enter a few times, he would be granted unrestricted access to the target machine.
I
But
mean, I'm slightly not keen on the fact you've just told everyone how to do it.
yeah. Well, this is the
Whoopsie.
BBC, so blame the BBC for telling everyone how to do it. Yeah, those blooming idiots at the BBC, eh? What do they know?
So it's on a BBC article.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Bloody BBC.
Yeah, fuck them. That's what I think.
Brilliant. I was waiting for that. People are a bit unhappy with the developer who founded this, Lemmy Ergin, because they said he was not following responsible disclosure guidelines typically observed by security professionals. There's a way around it, apparently. If you set a password for the root user on your Mac, that automatically stops this. This hack. It's not really a hack, is it? But stops this flaw.
Yeah.
But Apple are working
Glitch.
on it. They are aware of it. So we just have to wait and see whether the update is going to come out anytime soon. As far as I'm aware, this is just an issue if people actually have access to your Mac. So if people it's not something that can be done online over wireless connection.
Oh, so it's only local.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. So if someone wants to nick your iMac or your MacBook Pro, then it could be an issue. But they are working on an update, and Apple are normally pretty quick at fixing this. So I mean, this article only came out today, so I'm sure by the end of tonight, or tomorrow morning, we'll have an update. I'll be very surprised. But obviously now this is being revealed, and all these news outlets are reporting on this. It's a sort of a race against the clock for Apple, because now people know about it. People are going to try and exploit this, so they need to get this update out as soon as possible. But also another interesting thing, apparently this issue, I said I've had this update for a couple of weeks now. It's actually been an issue, and Apple apparently have been aware about it since the very beginning. But they just haven't released an update, but now it's just come to the forefront. So we wait and see. We wait for an update on that. But yeah, that's not good. Anyway, that's your Apple news for the week.
It's interesting.
What have you got for me in terms of Nintendo Switch? I know Christmas is upon us.
Yeah,
what new games are coming out?
With Christmas on the way comes a couple of quite big announcements, actually. Well, a quite big announcement and a not so big announcement. So, Yooka-Laylee, Colin, do you remember anything about this?
About what now?
About the game Yooka-Laylee. Do you remember me talking about it earlier on in the year?
You playing a ukulele? Sorry, you just cut out a little bit there.
No, the game Yooka-Laylee.
You cut out again. Sorry, say it again. What did you learn about you? What do you like about ukuleles?
The game Yooka-Laylee.
Yes. What about it?
Yes, Yooka-Laylee was a crowd-funded 3D platformer that came out earlier in the year to kind of middling sort of 67 out of 10 reviews. I had it on PS4 and didn't really rate it. I didn't think it was very good, but it's made by a lot of the ex-development team from Rare, who are responsible for the original Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, all those sorts of games. So there was high expectations. And obviously a lot of people, when it was originally announced for Wii U, and that was going to be where it kind of originally came out. And then stretch goal, added it to PS4 and Xbox One. Then, Colin, in development, they said, we're not going to bring it to Wii U anymore because instead we're going to bring it out on Nintendo Switch. We think that'd be
I do remember this. Yes, I do.
Yeah, we think that'd be like a more wholesome move. We think more people would like to play it on Switch. It makes more sense. So, skip forward to now, and they've just announced a release date for the Nintendo Switch version, which is December the 14th. So everyone who kickstarted it and wanted it on Switch will get it then. I assume there's going to be physical copies at some point as well. So here's the thing, Colin. Right. And it's a shame. It is a shame. But this game is not going to be very well. I don't think people are really that thirsty for it anymore. Because the problem is, we were all super thirsty for it way back when, because we wanted like 3D platformers. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
But like Super Mario Odyssey's just come out, and that is an absolutely huge game. Like that is so huge. And for those who didn't want Super Mario Odyssey, you've also had the new Sonic game, and you've had like other 3D platformers this year. There's been ones on other consoles as well. It's kind of what I'm getting at there. And I'm like, they missed their window with this. They really kind of shot themselves in the foot, because if it came out before Super Mario, like it might have been the game everyone was waiting for. But now Mario's already out. It's like, who's going to want to play Yooka-Laylee instead? Yeah,
it does seem strange. Well, I don't know. You say it's strange timing, but then it's just before Christmas, isn't it? So maybe, it's not so crazy. But I mean, look at...
Yeah, I mean, it's better now than in the new year, but also like the hype for this game has been and gone, especially because when it kind of launched, it got such flat reviews.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the original Kickstarter. So it's a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? It's 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago. 2015 was when it was
Mm.
finally brought to life. And looking at all the expected delivery dates, they were saying October 2016. So they're behind, I guess. But do you know how much they're going to be selling it for? Do you know what the price is going to be for this?
They've not. If they've said I've not seen it, I had an email about it, but I mean, I guess anyone who kickstarted it for that level will get it for free. But then, don't know how much they'll sell it for. It's a shame, really, because I really wanted to like ukulele, but playing Odyssey makes me realize how bad ukulele was actually, because it was just so hard to control, and a game like that shouldn't be difficult to control. So.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But anyway, there's a release date for that. There's also a release date for this. Looks really cool. Have you heard of a game called Crawl, Colin?
I'm just going to have a look at some pictures here. The name rings a bell.
So it's a
Crawl.
local multiplayer game. It's kind of a like
Yeah.
1632-bit, maybe top down. It's a party
There's a lot of
game where
bits
your
there.
friends and you play 8-bit even play as the dungeon monsters in a dungeon. So up to 3 players play as the monsters, and a solo player plays as the human. The human's trying to get through a series of rooms whilst the dungeon monsters are trying to kill him. And whoever gets the kill then becomes the human and then takes over. So it's like a competitive multiplayer game. It sounds perfect for Switch, and it's coming on December the 19th. So exciting about this.
This looks absolutely. I'm watching it now. It looks absolutely brutal. Oh,
Yeah, and the trailer is mad. It's being done, being voiced over by someone who sounds like, the guy from Thriller, the Michael Jackson song.
yeah.
It's that kind of style of voiceover. It looks mental, but it looks really good as well.
It does look really cool. This is a great idea, actually. So, how many people are trying to kill the human?
So it's 3. It's max 3 versus 1. You can play with 1 Joy-Con each, and it's going to cost £12.99 or $15 or €15 when it releases December the 19th.
Bargain. That's actually a really good price, I think.
Yeah, I really want to try this. I want it's the type of things that I can see like going down really well over the Christmas break as well, when you're meeting up with your friends back home and stuff.
Definitely.
So
cool.
yeah, that's good. Your last bit of Switch news, Colin,
Yeah.
is there is a strong rumor that Nintendo are going to bring out Super Mario cereal with amiibo functionality. So Kellogg's have said that they're supposedly working on it, and you can see it on the Target and Walmart website. I'm still not convinced, but basically, this is Super Mario cereal with an amiibo chip built into the box, which you can scan to unlock content in Super Mario Odyssey. Seriously.net, which is a website dedicated to cereal, have confirmed this on Twitter.
Wow.
It looks really good. I'm really keen for this. I mean, obviously, it looks horrendously bad for you, but yeah, it should be interesting.
Surely this should have come out a bit earlier, and the game's already out. So when is this going to be available?
Just in time for Christmas, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. He does look the married. Well, I'm looking at the box art here for the cereal, and I do like the little question mark box that's in the cereal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so looks interesting.
120 calories, I see. Oh dear.
Per serving. Yuck.
Yuck, disgusting. Have some Weetabix and then paint it yellow or something. But yeah, it's a cool idea. I mean, I remember they had those Mario toys at McDonald's a couple of years ago, didn't they? I'm surprised they've not done that again, actually, because it seems like the perfect time to do it with the Switch out and the Mario Odyssey out and stuff. So is this going to be available in the UK, or is it just US?
I hope so. It's the type of thing you could definitely see in like an Asda or something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. They've pretty much got a American section now in Asda, I think, for the American stuff. That's cool. That's delicious. So that's a great way to end the the Switch section.
Switch news. Yeah,
lovely. I just want to quickly rattle off some PlayStation Vita news. 2 small bits of news from this week. There's been a PlayStation Vita firmware update. So I know you were wondering, is the Vita more stable than ever before? Well, let's find out, shall we? So update 3.67 is available to download. It's the second PlayStation Vita system update of the year today. So I think this article is saying there's only been 2 updates this year. Is that correct? We've only had 2? That seems low. I suppose we've had more than that. It's currently unknown what the update adds, if anything, as Sony hasn't updated their official website. If you're having issues, blah, blah, here, no. Right, so there's no updates on this. What they're suspecting from this article here on PlayStation Lifestyle is that it's just an update to prevent piracy. So that's it. So don't get too excited. And unfortunately, your Vita's not going to be any more stable, which really is devastating news because we always need a stable Vita. Because, when you get the update and they don't fix the stability, your Vita will just be on your desk and it'll start shaking and just fall on the floor because it's not stable enough. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And finally, last bit of news, we have the December PlayStation Plus games. So if you are a member of PlayStation Plus, here are the games that you can get for PlayStation Vita. So the 2 games, Forma.8, which I believe is like a spacey puzzle game. I remember when this came out, everyone was talking about it. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's on Switch as well, actually. Absolutely gorgeous looking game. Brilliant artwork. Just looking in the background, some of these images here is like amazing sunsets and sunrises. You're exploring caves. There's those beasties you have to avoid. It looks a bit like Limbo, actually. Like everything is in a silhouette and your character's just flying about. So that's Forma.8, which is available on Vita via PlayStation Plus, and also Wanted Corp. Now, this game I'm not familiar with, so I'm just going to have a quick little search and see what this game is all about. Wanted Corp. Oh, looks very pretty. It is a top-down action game which you play as 2 intergalactic bounty hunters with different powers, and you can play solo or with a friend, locally or online, and it looks very, very cool.
Sounds great.
Very cool. And they're free. They're absolutely free if you have PlayStation Plus. How exciting is that? Very exciting. What 3DS?
I was going to say very exciting. Colin, we're kind of winding down a bit on our 3DS and our Vita coverage. I think that's fair to say. We'll talk more about that next week, I'm sure, on episode 200. But there is sometimes it's nice to have a reminder just how popular the 3DS is and continues to be. This two have posted that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon sold a collective of almost 1.2 million copies during their first 3 days of release in Japan. This concludes both download and download card and bundle sales, but doesn't include download sales. So I guess if you bought it bundled, it does, but if you bought it from an eShop, it doesn't. And the 3DS hardware has sold 40,000 units during the week that Ultra Sun Ultra Moon came out, which is more than double the previous week's 18,000. And that includes a sale of new 3DS, new 3DS XL, 2DS, and new 2DS XL. It's just... Pokemon is so huge, isn't it? And when it comes to Switch, that is going to be another level of huge.
Yeah, definitely. So, when's it out on Switch?
Well, I don't know if you're messing me around or not. The Pokemon Company have said they're working on a title for Switch, but they've not said what or when. So it's not like a set game is coming. They're just saying we're bringing Pokemon to Switch at some point. So yeah, exciting.
It's very exciting. It's good. They just pump out
huge numbers as well. Huge numbers.
They pump out these Pokemon games like they're candy, don't they?
So, yeah, the people love them because they're great.
Yeah, because they're all the same. Anyway, right. That's some great news there. Thank you, Nintendo 3DS. Thank you, Chris. Shall we move on to this week's group chat?
Yes. So this has been a really popular one this week, actually. We asked last week because we were thinking a lot about first-person shooters, and we wanted to know what people's favorite first-person shooters were, and which ones really kind of feel like they handled really well. We've got some really good responses, actually. Roberto has said that he's very kind of fond of Killzone Mercenary on the Vita, and also wanted to mention Metro Prime Federation Force on 3DS as well. And on a console, his favorite is Red Faction. Have you played Red Faction?
No, but it does ring a bell.
It didn't have like a weird cover. And THQ. And I think the thing with Red Faction, if I can remember right, is that everything was destructible. I think that's the one. But I mean, Killzone Mercenary What a great game. What a great game. Killzone is so, I think for me, like looking back on the Vita, Killzone is one of the real success stories. That game was so good.
Mm.
So that's a great pick from Roberto. Philip Hawkins says he's got very fond memories of playing multiplayer GoldenEye and Perfect Dark on the N64. Revamped GoldenEye on the Wii was very good as well. And then he loaded up his N64 the other day, and apparently it wasn't very pretty to look at. Did you play GoldenEye?
I did not. No, but
How? How did you not play GoldenEye?
What device was it on?
N64.
I didn't have an N64.
Oh, you're a twat then. It's so good.
I had a PS1. That was my jam.
Yeah, no, GoldenEye was an excellent game. I used to play as Michigan a lot with the Clobs. That was my weapons of choice. Yeah, really fun memories. The GoldenEye was one of the first multiplayer games I really connected with as well, and it was really smooth to play. Ollie Page has said Counter-Strike, but handheld-wise, Killzone was really good. And he apparently got the platinum in the Vita Resistance game.
That is impressive because he must be the only person who played it.
Yeah, that was fairly universally panned, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was very poor. It didn't play very well. If I remember rightly, it just wasn't very fun to play, and it was just a bit of a slog. Yeah. It was one of the last big title games that came to Vita, I think. One of the last of the big studio productions. I think it was delayed quite a lot as well, if I remember rightly, but I do remember it being pretty lukewarm in terms of the response to it.
And finally, Infinite States on Twitter. Very, very simply, someone a few words, he just replied, Quake. Fair enough. Quake's pretty great, isn't it? We like Quake. Colin.
Yes.
When it comes to first-person shooter mechanics, what are some of the titles that stand out for you?
Now, this is a great question. And one game that comes to mind when I think of, first-person shooters and mechanics and what defined my opinion of first-person shooters has to be, I don't know whether you played this, and I don't know how popular this game actually was, but I used to play it all the time with my old friend back when I was in probably junior school, just before senior school now, quite a long time ago. It was a 007, James Bond, Nightfire.
Oh, yeah, Nightfire was very good.
Now, I never played the campaign in Nightfire. I never, ever touched it. But what we used to do local co-op on these maps that are being created, especially for the online mode. And it'd be me and my friend, and we fill it with bots as well. And it was so much fun. There was a gun in it. I think it was called the Samurai. There was loads of guns from loads of different films from James Bond. You could unlock characters from the different films as well. There was Oddjob, there was Jaws, and loads of other characters as well. But I remember there being this gun in the game called the Samurai, and it was one of our favorites. It was a laser gun. That sounds really stupid. It was like a gun that it didn't shoot bullets; it shot like a laser. I don't know what film it was from. Maybe it was just from this game. I don't know, but you could either do the usual blast, and if you shot too much, it would overheat, and you have to wait for it to cool down. But there was a cool move where you could hold down the trigger button, and you could hold it down, and the gun would shake, and then you'd unleash a huge explosion. This amazing laser that would make anything explode. I used to enjoy that. There was a map on this game called, I think it was called Ravine, I believe, and it was a snowy map outside on a mountain. There was two buildings, one either side of the map. There was a cable car going around constantly, which you could stand in and just easily get around the map.
Yes, I remember that. That cable car was horrendous, wasn't it? And you could, if you were really good, you could climb to the top where the cable car would come in and just wait for the people to get there.
Yeah, that's what we used to do. And what was annoying is you could never be sly in there because, even if you were stood in there or crouched down in there, because of PlayStation 2 games back then, if you were looking at the cable car, you could see your character glitching through the wall of the car. You could see the foot or the side, and you're like, oh, there's someone hiding in there, and just wait for them to get off. Or there wasn't really a glitch or a bug, but there was something where you could climb on top of the cable, and then you could get around the map easier that way. So that was so fun. I used to love that game so much. They even had a golden gun in it, which was one hit, one kill. It's really hard to hit a character with it, but if you shot them, they were dead instantly. That was cool. That game was one of my favorite first-person shooters, and it was probably maybe one of the first ones I ever played. To be honest with you, I can't really remember playing any others before then. I don't know how well that game reviewed. I don't know how popular it was, but to me, because of all those great memories I had playing it, we used to play it every night after school. So much fun. If they were to bring that back, maybe an online version, a PC version or a Steam version, which had online modes with those maps, it'd be so much fun. That was just a great game. And it was nice back then where you didn't have to like pay for extra content or extra maps or extra characters. You earned the characters by completing the campaign or getting a certain amount of points. It was just so fun. So fun. So big shout out 007 Nightfire on the PlayStation 2. That was a great game. What's yours, Chris?
I've been thinking quite hard about this. When it comes to mechanics, there's a couple that really stand out. I really like Borderlands 2. I think that's for a game where you have to manage a lot of inventory, the way the game does it is really smooth and fluent and fast, and you never feel like you're having to pause to sort yourself out. You can just kind of plow through. I don't know if you ever played it. Did you play a game on the last gen called Bulletstorm?
Sorry, say that again. It cut out.
A game called Bulletstorm on the PS3 or Xbox 360.
I did play a bit of it. I had the demo. That was from Epic Games, wasn't it? The same people.
Yeah, Epic published it, and People Can Fly developed it, and it was a first-person shooter where you basically were stuck on the plot was that you were stuck on an island or a planet where you were rewarded with points for the different types of kills that you did. So you could just run around and shoot everyone, that'd be fine, and you just get to the story, whatever. Or like you had this one of your hands was like a power whip, so you could pull enemies towards you and shoot them.
Yes, I remember this.
Or you could pull them into spiky obstacles or off cliffs. And that was like that for me was a really fluent game that kind of turned the first-person shooter style on its head. Team Fortress 2 was a classic. Left 4 Dead 2 is a classic. But the one for me that I think is the best first-person shooter, the pinnacle, and it's the same era as your one, Colin. Did you ever play a game called Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect?
Time Splitters 3. I remember this, I think.
Yeah.
Do I remember this?
So Time Splitters is a series, and it's this kind of arcadey shooter starring this time agent called Cortez, who's trying to track down these bad guys called the Time Splitters that are created by this kind of like paradox thing in time. The story and the campaign is fine. It's good. It's co-op. But the multiplayer arcade mode is the most fun I've ever had in a first-person shooter. It is so good. There's like a roster of hundreds of characters, loads of levels, loads of game modes, and it's like you were saying with Nightfire. It's one of those ones where customize what you do, and if you play with certain people, you can be like, right, we're going to play on this map. You're only allowed to use this weapon. If you don't use this weapon, then this is what happens. And it was so smooth. There was like a range of really fun characters, all of which were unlocked through kind of challenges and things. It was just so pure in its fun. And as soon as you said like, right, we're doing Virus on Blimp, or we're doing Survival on Siberia, it's a really excellent, exquisite game. And I played it on GameCube, and it ran so smoothly. It felt so good playing it with the wireless Wavebird controller. But equally on the PS2, you could use a multi-tap and play with 4 of you. An excellent game. That's my favorite first-person shooter of all time. And for a long time, this team have been working on a PS4 remaster of it for free, because the team that made Time Splitters crashed and burned because they made a game called Haze, which really plummeted, and they lost a lot of market value because of that and never really recovered. So there's a fan project to make a PS4 version of Time Splitters, which has been in the working for years, and I really hope it happens next year.
I'm just watching a video on YouTube. I'm watching Time Splitters Future Perfect Virus on Disco.
Oh, Disco's a classic level.
Looks great. Oh, the map looks great. So cool. It's like a big disco. There's a disco ball. There's a massive statue. There's fish tanks. This does look really cool. I've never played this, but it looks similar ilk to Nightfire, to be honest with you, in the movements and the guns and things like that. But it does look fun.
It was that kind of era, wasn't it, of like split screen first person shooters that were just really top stuff.
Yeah, looks really cool. So good memories, good times indeed. Right, Chris, what is actually, I'll probably say this. So next week, we're going to have group chat again. And we'd like your thoughts on our topic, which for next week, for episode 200, is going to be your favorite PlayStation Vita memory. So this can be anything. It can be from a game. It can be an app you downloaded whilst it had apps. It could be, film you watched on there. Anything to do with the PlayStation Vita. Maybe somewhere you played it, somewhere where you had no internet connection or no other access to games, and you just picked up a Vita and you had a great time. We'd really like to know your favorite PlayStation Vita memory. So that'll be our topic for next week. How can people contact us, Chris?
It's really, really simple, Colin. The best way is Twitter at Handheld Podcast. But you can also email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. You can go on our Facebook page by searching Heroes of Handheld, or you can go to the website heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com, contact box there, and you can click on that and have a jolly, jolly good time by getting in touch with us through there. It's really simple.
Yes, so many ways. Or just search Heroes of Handheld on Google. Then we'll
sure, that works.
So thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Christmas is upon us. It's December next week, and it'll be our episode 200. So exciting.
How exciting. Come over at 200.
I know. We need to figure out something to do, or we might, or just have a normal episode. We'll discuss. We'll see what happens.
So we'll work out.
If you want to contact us, usual way, Twitter, Facebook, any for social media, you can find all previous episodes of Heroes of Handheld on heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. You can watch or listen to every single episode. You can also email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. So many ways. But thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great week playing everything handheld. We will speak to you next week. Say bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris.